Production support for this episode of Gadget was provided by the California Province of the Society of Jesus and Gateway. Hello, and welcome back to Gadget at thetechstop.net. It's a place where it's always time to get your geek on. I'm your host, Father Robert Ballecer of the Society of Jesus. I'm a member of the California Province of the Jesuits. We're the largest religious order in the Catholic Church, and we're here in the Center for Apostolic Technology in Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, a while back, we got the chance to review the Netgear ReadyNAS Pro. It's a 6-bay RAID network-attached storage box that's designed for small to medium businesses to small enterprises. Now, there are other products out there from other manufacturers that try to do the same thing, but what set the Pro aside was the fact that it was just so much better in so many different aspects. The operating system was more intuitive and quicker. The horsepower included in the box, the processor, was just so much more than was needed for just storage that you had that headroom to run plugins in case you wanted to make the box do more than just storage. But the thing that set it aside the most was the fact that the transfers were fast, crazy fast. In fact, it pretty much maxed out the theoretical max for Ethernet, so fast that we had to run a virtual drive, a memory drive on our workstation in order to keep up with the benchmarks. But as good as this box is, Netgear realizes that it's not for everyone. It's a bit expensive, it's a bit big, it does suck up a bit more power than some of their other devices, so they've taken some of the best parts from the Pro, some of the best parts from their consumer line, and combined it into this. The ReadyNAS NVX Business Edition is a 4-bay, hot-swappable, high-performance network-attached RAID, the latest entry in Netgear's growing business-centric line of storage products. Like the ReadyNAS Pro, the NVX is aimed more towards the small to medium business than to the consumer or power user, but that's not to say that the uber-geek power user isn't going to want one. Out of the box, you'll find everything you need to get up and online in minutes. The front of the NVX sports the power switch, status lights for the hard drives, a one-touch backup button, a USB port for external storage devices, and a small LCD display at the bottom of the unit. Opening the front panel of the NVX reveals 4 quick-release caddies. These are an improvement over the caddies included with previous generations of the ReadyNAS, with locking mechanisms that seem easier to manipulate, and a rail system that is much smoother in loading and unloading the drives. The back of the NVX has an oversized fan, a power socket, a Kensington locking port for securing your NVX, a handle, and the USB and Ethernet ports. One of the most visible upgrades of the NVX over the NV Plus is the inclusion of 2 Gigabit Ethernet ports. 2 ports means that you can bond 2 Gigabit connections together for greater speed, dedicate a port for failover for greater reliability, or use the NVX for additional services that would be unavailable in a single port unit. Removing 4 screws gives you access to pretty much everything under the hood. The ReadyNAS NVX may be cosmetically similar to the 3-year-old ReadyNAS NV Plus, but a few key upgrades have been made to the CPU, chipset, network, and RAID hardware. The NVX has a single SODIMM slot at the top of the unit that will accept DDR2 modules. Our unit came with a gigabyte of memory, but you can easily upgrade it to 2 gigs should you need the extra memory for plugins or services. The heavy lifting is done by a small motherboard at the top of the unit that contains everything from the processor to the Ethernet ports, drive logic, and control interface. The NVX uses an Intel Tolopai processor to speed RAID functions while decreasing power consumption. Speaking of power consumption, the NVX is quite frugal with its power budget. At full operation with all 4 drives installed, we averaged a power consumption of about 67 watts. Allowing the unit to sleep dropped the consumption as low as 7 watts. Like the NV Plus and the Pro, the LCD on the NVX is actually a great selling point. It provides an at-a-glance access to information like IP address, available storage space, errors, and unit status. Like the other products in Netgear's ReadyNAS line, installing drives is made simple thanks to the hot-swappable caddies. Simply place the hard drives in the caddy secured with 4 screws, then plug the assembly into one of the drive slots. The NVX will automatically detect the new drives and give you the option of expanding the existing array or creating a new volume. If you've ever used a ReadyNAS, you'll be well equipped to use the web-based GUI of the NVX, since Netgear has standardized the UI across their product line. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to control everything from date and time to network parameters, the performance options, language, power options, and at least 3 dozen other settings. You'll be able to check logs, see the status of your array, toggle VLANs or jumbo frames, install and configure plugins, create volumes, choose between simple and advanced user authentication, and pretty much everything else you might want to do with a NAS. The UI is intuitive and fast. Even a first-timer should be able to quickly navigate and fully configure the NVX in just about an hour. While the UI is a standout feature of the ReadyNAS line, it's not the only one done right on Netgear's boxes. NVX supports a dizzying array of services, plugins, and multimedia options that are available for the OS. For basic file sharing, the NVX supports CIFS, NFS, AFP, FTP, HTTP, and secure HTTP. It can be used with Windows, Linux, and Mac clients. For all you Apple users, the NVX is compatible with Time Machine and supports auto detection through Bonjour or Universal Plug and Play, meaning that the NVX can quickly become the device that handles storage, printers, and streaming services in your network. The NVX is also packed with a number of default streaming services like Squeeze Center, iTunes Streaming Media Server, Universal Plug and Play for audio-video, and the Home Media Streaming Server. Used in conjunction with a readily available plugin, you'll be able to use your NVX to stream music, video, movies, and pictures over the network to compatible media devices. If you're looking for an easy and comprehensive backup solution, that's another area in which the ReadyNAS line excels. The software built into the NVX can automatically back up any network device to any network-connected storage, regardless of your operating system or security setup. As long as the NVX can see what is to be backed up, and to where it will copy the files, it can be set up to perform a series of unattended backups according to your schedule. This comes in very handy if you're trying to back up multiple computers on off hours without having to install individual backup clients on each workstation. The NVX also allows for remote backups using FTP or rsync. That means that you can have the NVX automatically store part or all of your data on a remote ReadyNAS or other standards-based storage server. For those who want true remote backup in the cloud, Netgear has just announced the ReadyNAS Vault, a service that promises cloud computing for the masses. More than just an online storage center, ReadyNAS Vault allows for the remote replication of your connected ReadyNAS devices and remote management of those devices from a single interface. Were you to be in charge of managing a series of business-class ReadyNAS devices, say a dozen ReadyNAS Pros and a few NVXs, you would get a single unified web interface that would give you at-a-glance status and management for all your ReadyNAS units. We'll be reviewing ReadyNAS Vault in a future episode of Gadget, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like a winner. A note about performance. In our test using Iometer, we maxed out the transfer rate of the NVX at about 73 megabytes per second reading throughput and 75 megabytes per second write. Transfer rates with the NVX are definitely faster than with the NV+, which averaged about 30 megabytes per second, but slower than the ReadyNAS Pro, which topped out at more than 100 megabytes per second. The performance difference between the NVX and the Pro is due to the extra firepower that the Pro has under the hood. This also means that restriping, resizing, or resyncing the NVX is much slower than with the Pro. This isn't to say that the NVX is slow, but if you are choosing between the NVX and the Pro, you should understand up front that you are trading speed for lower cost and reduced power consumption. The Netgear ReadyNAS NVX Business Edition is available now. Prices start at $1,000 for the NVX with 2 enterprise-class 500GB hard drives. Even though these look the same, even though they both have 4 drive bays, only the NVX and the Pro are really set up for, well, enterprises, small to medium businesses. Only the NVX and the Pro have features like iSCSI, which allows for that ultra-flexible, ultra-high-capacity connector between, say, your NVX and your ESX server so that you could run VMware images straight off the array. Only the NVX and the Pro have dual Gigabit Ethernet that can be bonded or put into round robin for added speed or for reliability. I mean, there really is a big difference between the consumer level and the business level. This is about twice as fast as this, and this is about 25% as fast, again, than the NVX. So you do get that gradual increase of performance and the gradual increase of options, of capabilities that is good because it gives us choice about what we need for that particular time. If you're looking for a consumer level product, look for the NV+. I mean, that's going to go for about $600 without drives. If you're looking for an entry-level small to medium business product, look for the NVX because that's going to run you about $1,000 with 2 500GB enterprise-class drives. If you want something that's high-powered and will continue to be able to be expanded as you go, look for the ReadyNAS Pro. That's going to start you off at about $1,200 empty, but then the price quickly climbs as you add options. But no matter what you choose, what Netgear has done is to give us a really nice range of options that will suit our storage needs. Now, if you want to find out more about the ReadyNAS Pro line, you can go to their website at www.netgear.com or www.readynas.com. Participate in the forums and find out exactly what the users of these boxes have to say about them. If you want to find out more about what we think of the ReadyNAS, you can go to our website at www.thetechstop.net. If you click on the Gadget tab, you'll be able to find all of our episodes in high resolution. If you want to send us an email, you can reach us at gadget@thetechstop.net. Well, I've been your host, Father Robert Ballecer. This has been the Center for Apostolic Technology. And remember, there's no Uber Geek without you.